All right, it's No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker, our co-host, Lori Hintz.
How you doing? Did you have a good Easter?
I did. It was relaxing, and it was beautiful weather.
That's so too.
And yeah, it was
nice.
very pleasant.
And I ate myself into a stupor, as is my custom. So.
Yes, we had turkey. I don't normally like turkey, but my dad brined it.
Oh, my husband brines it.
Best turkey.
Yeah.
He brined it for a week.
Oh, a week?
A week. Best turkey I ever had.
Amazing.
Literally, and then smoked it for a little while on Easter. Ooh. And it tasted like ham.
Oh, wow. I bet that was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Very cool. We had ham. But it was great, too. It was great.
All right. So, yeah, we had a couple days off. Welcome back to live time, or nearly so. Today we've got a guest. We're going to have him on for 3 segments, because last time we had him on, he had so much more to say, and we had to cut him off. So, and that's Eugene Graner, and we're going to learn all about the dollar and
lots of cool stuff.
Crypto and what have you.
All sorts of different things, right?
First up, I wanted to cover a couple of bills today. They're unusual because they're not the big things that we talk about, spending and firearms and that kind of thing. But I think that they go to a little bit more of this sort of leftist agenda, to this woke movement, to this wokeness. And the first bill...
And these are Senate bills, right? They came from the
Senate bills. They were passed in the
House.
Senate and they came to the House. So pop up the first one. I think I forget, but I think I talked about it briefly on the show. Senate Bill 2232. And it's pretty straightforward. It just says that in Century Code, Juneteenth is enacted to commemorate the ending of slavery in the United States. The 19th of June of each year is designated and established as Juneteenth for the state of North Dakota. All right. Now, I got up on the floor and I spoke against it, and I led off by saying, why would someone want to stand against this? Because, of course, you're just going to be called a racist. But I have a lot of problems with it. Number one, Juneteenth is a dumb name. Okay.
It is.
Number two,
I'm not going to disagree.
Number two, this is a push from the progressive left.
Right.
So it's one thing if we in North Dakota said, hey, you know what, we want to have a holiday that celebrates the end of slavery, and we'll call it Freedom Day, which sometimes people refer to as Juneteenth. And we'll do that on our own. But this is a push from the left. You must do Juneteenth.
You have to comply to be politically correct.
Right. All of the states are doing it. I think there's 3 states, including the 2 Dakotas, that don't have it yet.
In Hawaii.
Okay. And more than that, I mean, I shouldn't say more than that, because that's enough right there. If the left is trying to push you to do something so you can fall in line with their wokeness, that's enough to say no right there.
Right.
Here's the other thing, though. Juneteenth, June 19th, so it goes like this. Abraham Lincoln gave the Emancipation Proclamation, right? And then it was enacted, I think, on January 1st of 1863. But that only applied to Confederate states. So the enactment of the Emancipation Proclamation was great for all the slaves in the Confederate states. It didn't apply to the Union states. The problem is that they were very slow to do anything in Texas. I don't know why, but probably because they're far enough away from federal agents and soldiers. So then the soldiers came in there, and they finally took care of things. They went to Galveston, and they said, this is it, you guys, slavery is abolished here. That was on June 19th. But then they went to Houston a day later on the 20th, abolished slavery there. And then they went to Houston on the 23rd and abolished slavery there. So, great. So the 19th, I guess, is what we're celebrating, but it wasn't until the 23rd that it was abolished in Texas. However...
So it's not even accurate.
We claim, as it says here, ending slavery in the United States. No, it didn't. That was following the Civil War. Slavery ended with the enactment and adoption of the 13th Amendment, which I think is December 18th. December 18th. Why did that end slavery? Because despite the fact that Texas was now free of having slavery, the Union states, Kentucky, I believe, and I'm forgetting, there's another couple, Tennessee.
Tennessee, yep.
They still had slavery. So we're saying, oh, Juneteenth, the abolishment of slavery, if you belonged in a state that was on the wrong side of the Civil War. But we still had slavery in the Union states. So this is ridiculous. So it's not only is it horribly inaccurate, I mean, I think to myself, what about the slaves that were in the Union states and people are jumping around saying, yay, the abolishment of slavery in the United States because Galveston was freed. I mean, this seems crazy to me. So not is it horribly historically inaccurate, but it's shoved down our throats by the left.
It's a jump on the bandwagon, Bill.
It is.
Is what it is.
I just saw this. This came up 2 hours ago on Facebook.
Okay.
So this is by a person who's angry at me because of the next bill we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But she's voicing her opinion on
The
me
Juneteenth?
on that other bill, and then comes back to the Juneteenth, and she says, I just can't let this go without saying one more thing. I'd like you all to meet Representative Rick Becker from North Dakota. He's a plastic surgeon and he owns numerous properties in the Bismarck area. Mm-hmm. He's a multimillionaire. Not true. He's a total douche canoe.
Wow.
Possibly.
Maybe even a double douche canoe.
A double douche canoe.
Okay.
No, just a douche canoe.
Okay.
This guy actually stood up in the North Dakota Capitol building today and said that he does not support recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday because it is not a real holiday and it only gained recognition because of a 2017 episode of Blackish. And that because many ways people show support on this holiday by donating to Black Lives Matter. Now, what I did say is it picked up interest. And if you look at Google Trends, I said this on the floor, if you look at Google Trends, it did pick up interest starting with the Blackish episode about Juneteenth, because no one's heard of Juneteenth before that. And then it really picked up interest on Google after the George Floyd incident.
Again,
so it picked up
on Google.
Yeah,
Which should tell you all you need to know
right,
there.
so that's the statements I made are true, but of course, because I said them, it makes me racist. Okay, next bill. We are looking at Senate Bill 2304. And this is basically to put Native American history instruction into Century Code. I'm not in favor of it. I voted against it. Oh, by the way, the last bill did pass the House.
It did?
Yeah,
the
it did.
Juneteenth
So Juneteenth
went?
is going to be a done deal now. Anyway, back to...
No, I didn't even realize that. So that it has to be signed yet by the governor.
Well, yeah, it'll be signed. So the teaching Native American
Unless
history...
the governor watches the show and decides that he understands that you have a very valid argument. Okay,
well,
sorry.
you know,
Didn't mean to interrupt there.
Yes, okay. I don't have, you got me speechless. Okay,
I nailed it.
so the Native American history.
Okay.
I had a problem with it because it put into code something that we don't normally put into code. Everything has its place. I'm in favor of teaching Native American history. The problem I had with this, and go ahead and flip to the next graphic, is really how it originated. It originated, again, as a leftist sort of thing, a wokeishness about the plight of Native Americans with sovereignty, their socioeconomic experiences, and current events, like DAPL.
Exactly.
Right? So it was kind of pushing that. Now, that got amended out. What you see here, folks, is amended out. I don't want you to be under the impression that this is what was in there. But it got amended out, and I just kind of stood my ground, and I said that I respect it. I think it's valuable. Certainly in North Dakota, it's valuable. In any of the Plain States, it's valuable to learn about this. But we don't put this type of stuff in Century Code, so it doesn't belong. It passed, and I'm fine with it passing in its amended form. It's very watered down. I mean, it's fine. There were a lot of kids up in the stands, and you know, I'm happy for them. They were applauding. They did the Native American yelling or whatever, and I mean, that's all fine. They felt it was a huge win. The adults also felt it was a huge win. Here's the thing. I'm happy for them that they got a win. They think that this is going to be something that eventually is going to better their lives, and it's not. And I feel really bad in that respect because the belief is if white people just learn about Native Americans, Native American history, that something somehow is going to be better. And that's not the issue. It's good for students to know that as history and what have you, but it's not going to address the inequities in our societies. If you look at some of the reservations across the country, it's basically like third world countries within the United States, which is an embarrassment. It's horrible, and the federal government is 100% responsible. This doesn't address any of that. This is a Band-Aid. So again, I'm happy the kids are feeling good and they feel it's a victory, and I think it's important after what must feel like many, many losses over the course of their lives. But this is not going to solve anything, and I think that's the tragedy is we, I guess, put a little Band-Aid on, and it's fine to feel good for a day, but let's not kid ourselves that this is going to provide any real change, which is really, really needed for the
Very much
Native
so.
American population.
Absolutely agree. All right, change of...
Yeah, let's invite Eugene Graner. Hopefully he's here. Yes,
He's
he's
here.
here. All right, folks, we're going to be back with Eugene. Stick with us.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. We have with us Eugene Graner. Welcome back. Welcome back. So happy to have you on.
Good to have you.
President of Heartland Investors, right?
Heartland Investor Services, heartlandinvest.com, yes, Inc. as the website is. Heartland Investor Capital Management, that is our advisory side of heartlandinvest.com. And now recently we added another company because of the farmers and that we are so versed in working in agriculture for farmers and understanding the markets. We've added another company. I started Heartland Diversified Crop Insurance Agency.
Wow.
We work with revenue insurance for farmers, ensuring their livelihoods, along with adding the options, futures for hedging. It all kind of comes together, puts a little package together for them.
Good for you.
And we are living in, as the Chinese would say, interesting times. You live in interesting times, and there's prosperity to be found if we could just reign in North Dakota.
Oh,
you know.
man.
But
so
as far
true.
as the farmers of the
That is
United
true.
States, there is awesome potential this year.
I wish that I could have had some revenue insurance for my restaurant. That would have
Don't
been
we all?
good.
And subsidized too.
Well, all of it, everything.
That's so true.
All right, so you, we're going to talk about several things, one of which deals with cryptocurrency. So let's start the conversation with that.
Yes. Cryptocurrencies, as we've visited the last time you had me on here, I think in about February we were on here, and Bitcoin was trading around $30,000 some dollars at the time, $30,000 per coin. Remember, this is not a physical coin. This is a digitized blockchain currency. You don't actually physically carry it in your pocket. It's basically a currency like the Federal Reserve creates out of thin air, and then it's digitized to your bank when you take out a loan. The cash that you carry around in your wallet, that's from the U.S. Treasury, and the coinage is done by our government. But the control of our money system is not at the banks, is not about how many millions of greenbacks they have laying in there. It's about the digitized currency they have that's invented by the Federal Reserve. Well, that's essentially what these blockchain currencies are, but they're not controlled by man. They're controlled by the valuation of individuals, of what they think they're worth. And what's interesting about what Bitcoin has done, and I've brought some charts along, we're going to compare and show, what the US dollar's done, what the gold has done as relative to Bitcoin, one of the dominant cryptocurrency that's out there. So if you could bring up a chart on the Bitcoin that I have, you're going to notice something. This is a weekly chart on Bitcoin. Now the thing is, to the left of the chart, that doesn't look like much action, when in fact that was substantial action to the left of the chart, movements of $4,000 to $20,000. But I want you to see that little red circle I highlighted. That was the March 2020 panic COVID collapse, when stock markets, everything, every commodity, everything under the sun went basically straight down. And at the bottom of that chart is when the Federal Reserve came out with their first, supportive, they called easy lending or whatever, liquidity into the marketplace started. And that shot Bitcoin, as you can see on that chart, started rising and elevating it. And then we came out with that CARES Act. You can see that first little 2 bumps that came up. And then we really took off. That really took off lines up with the November COVID relief package of $1 trillion that bolted Bitcoin to a high. As you can see there, as it gets halfway up, it stalls out at 40,000. You know what that last explosion is? Was in the talk of the $1.9 trillion package that culminated from that little March circle. When you see on that chart, from that circle to the present price we're at, is between the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury inventing $10 trillion out of thin air to provide for COVID. And so on that chart, that's where the perception of our declining buying power by the money that's about to be spent and loaded into the marketplace. Now, there's a funny thing on the way to this party, is most of that money is not out there yet. That's perception that has been put into Bitcoin. Let's bring another chart up here now, and then the next one is that we're going to probably look at on the chart is going to be the dollar or the gold. We'll see what they have in Q here. The US dollar. This is the weekly chart on the dollar. Now you might find that interesting, the dollar from the first of the year, on the right side of the chart, I should have put a circle there at the bottom, but that was January 6th was the bottom. Remember the Electoral College issues? Well, right around then is when the dollar bottomed and it started rising again, in spite of everything that was going on with the lofty spending of money. And if you notice that high on the charts way in the center there, well, that was the highs prior to 2020 when they unleashed all the spending ideas of what the Federal Reserve is going to do, which did drive the dollar down. But why did the dollar bounce from January at the beginning of the year until end of March while gold has simultaneously declined? Well, the answer to that question is all the currencies in the world were doing what we were doing. They were printing money. We're like the best looking horse at the glue factory. We're all dying, okay? But the difference is our interest rates were going up, because our economy was improving. Our lockdowns were not widespread like France, Germany, Great Britain. Lockdowns were on and off. Their economies were struggling, not picking up. So their interest rates were flatlined, basically near zero as well. A little bit more than ours, but near zero. So as our interest rates were increasing, you had the money goes where it's treated best. Money was rushing to the U.S. to buy these rising 10-year, 15-year, 30-year rates as they were coming up. And you got to buy a U.S. dollar to buy this debt in the U.S. So that brought strength into the dollar for about 3 months. And now that dollar strength seems to be fading away. And gold never was the favorite. As we were on here last time, we talked about, cryptocurrencies is where it's at, we had said. Yeah. And gold was kind of out of favor at the moment. Well, if we bring that gold chart up, we'll see that now gold has somewhat retreated. That purple line that you see on there, those that understand technical trading, we call that moving averages. It's a mathematical calculation of the market moving, smoothing out, so to speak, the ups and downs. And on that monthly chart, you can see we came down to a current moving average on there that I utilize on these charts. And it seems to be bouncing off of that simultaneously as the dollar is retreating. And now what you cannot deny in this overall chart is the continual uptrending action that got underway since the turn of the century. And we made new highs just 7 months ago on gold to just shy of 2,100, retreating now to the 1,700 value. And I think this, in my opinion, is a level now where gold will start finding interest as cryptos have doubled in value and the dollar starts fading. We'll start seeing gold go up. Now, why is it taking so long for the dollar to fade while the cryptocurrency explodes? I'm glad you asked, Rick. I will answer that question. And the answer to that question is, you know, the CARES Act, all the money that was invented that is going to be loaned to the Treasury to spend has actually not been spent out. Even school systems haven't even got some of that money yet from the CARES Act. The November bill that was passed, that $1 trillion, that money, even when they were working on the last bill, they had said that money hasn't been spent yet. I think they'd only spent $600 billion of that trillion.
Right.
And the new $1.9 trillion, you know, is just now going out in checks. But to the other industries where it's intended to spend and studying the sex habits of some monkeys and so, I'm being funny on that. But the point is, there's money just being blown out of this thing. That money has not been accessed from the Federal Reserve, handed to the Treasury, and the Treasury has not dispersed that money yet. It's the dispersion of this money that then eventually waters down our currency and then creates that inflation of too much money chasing too few supplies as everybody starts feeling rich about themselves because they have this diluted money.
Right.
But if you want to buy something with it, well, that's going to explode in price. You know, it's kind of like appliances. Not only are they not able to make them because of COVID restraints, everybody wants a new appliance. It seems like basically some of the number one things that people who had received some of these $1,400 checks that had a job, and some were asking, why am I getting these checks? Those checks went to home improvements, trips. That's why airlines are now almost fully recovering to where we were a year ago. I think the last time we were on here, we were probably talking about airlines. But the bottom line is that money is yet to flood the marketplace.
Right.
And when that does, that's when the price of the US dollar will start to diminish itself. And that'll occur probably later in the second quarter into the third quarter. That then will probably translate into seeing prices of gold starting to elevate again, like we had seen last year.
Interesting.
So interesting.
Very interesting. I have questions for you, which
More?
I will hold. Yeah, ones that I'll actually say out loud, and we're going to hold those
We'll drop the
for the next
telepathic.
segment.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hang with us. We will be back with more of Eugene Graner.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most
is
condescending,
crazy.
rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the
news.
third term of a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck, your after hours oasis of sanity. Yes, I am your host, Rick Becker. Our co-host, Lori Hintz, is in the far chair.
And in the center, we have Eugene Graner from
Eugene
Heartland
Graner.
Investor Services, Inc.
Glad to be here.
All right, so I've got a few questions for you. So you indicated that we could look at gold going up in value because we can expect the inflationary process to really start to take hold when people are getting the checks, the money's actually in the economy, the dollar loses value, gold is going to counter that. Yes. Do I have that correct?
Yes, you're correct.
Bitcoin, any of the cryptos, which by the way, so Bitcoin went up about 700% over the last year. Ethereum, which is mine, the one I like, went up 1,200% over the last year.
Bitcoin, you can just keep naming them. Yeah.
Sure. It seems to me that the cryptos are in a bit of a bubble, and it seems to me at some point that bubble's going to pop, or we'll call it a correction.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was going to say, because Bitcoin has imploded 25% corrections, 40% corrections, 7 times.
Yeah.
And then they keep saying it's the death of Bitcoin, and it comes back, makes a new high. Because again, what is a fiat currency but by decree? And that's what all currencies have become since they're not backed by gold. And so the euro, the US dollar, the franc, the mark, whatever you want to name it by, they're jealous of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is by fiat of the people. The people have chose to make these cryptos or currency. Now the IRS and the Federal Reserve will call it an asset, okay? Well, if it's an asset, then somebody better remind Elon Musk at Tesla, Apple, Amazon, all these other stores that are bringing Bitcoin exchangeable on their apps where you can buy and sell in Bitcoin. Well, that's currency. And again, fiat is by decree of the people. So the only way to ever end the currency of cryptos is to shut the internet off. Well, I walk you into a new world without internet going forward. It just is not going to be.
Right. So let me follow that up. So the price of gold is clearly tethered, inversely proportional to the value of the dollar.
You know, in trading bands, you know, there's a band to it. You know,
yeah.
The dollar may be up one day and the gold could be up at the same time.
Sure.
Inside the trading bands, each one has its individual news
in the band.
story. But
so for basic people like me, more or less that holds true.
Yes.
We're expecting the dollar to go up with this influx of money into the economy. We're also expecting crypto to go up. It seems to me that crypto is not tethered like the dollar is to the value of, like gold is to the dollar.
Because it can't be manipulated by the banks. The banks have the access to the futures markets of the gold market and the silver market, and they can sell infinite amount of contracts of gold or silver to manipulate the valuations for a period of time. They can't forever, but they can stall out rallies by using the delivery process in gold and silver, by overselling contracts, depressing the price of gold while sales catch up of the currency of the metal that needs to be bartered with. Right. And so cryptos don't have that. Gold and silver have a nasty little thing called banks, and banks have the ability to control the delivery process and supply of gold and silver.
Okay, so tell me where I'm wrong here. I think that the cryptos are in the territory where there will be a correction.
Yeah, very likely.
but they're going to go up because there's an influx of cash, $1,400 to people that maybe already have jobs.
Did you know that you could plot to the day those checks hit? Cryptos were in a semi-correction, and the day those checks hit, you could watch all the very cryptos take off.
So that's what I'm getting at. Is crypto is going to continue to go up as the money comes into the economy. People are going to do their buying to whatever degree because they have FOMO, fear of missing out, and they're like, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin. I don't care if it's at $60,000. But then the influx is done. Inflation comes up, the value of the dollar is decreased, everything is more expensive. There's no more buying of cryptos. We're going to see a significant correction, a good 40% correction. So there's me, ignorant in all the facts. Tell me how I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. All things fluctuate. It's the typical nature of supply and demand. You just talked about the supply of U.S. currency flooding into cryptos, and then the demand for those cryptos will run out as the supply influx limits. Now, if the demand for the cryptos continues exponentially because other countries' currencies are also liquidating, buying into cryptos, that can elevate the cryptos beyond that.
That's a great point, because the cryptos are global.
It's global.
Yeah.
It's a fiat of the people, of the world. There's no borders in regards to cryptocurrencies. That's a beautiful thing about it. You know, they talk about a one world government. I hate to tell you this. The one world government currency will likely be a crypto.
That's fascinating. That's kind of exciting. I hope it's the one I own. All right, so basically what you're saying is to try and determine if and more likely when a correction in crypto will occur is throwing a dart at the board for most people like myself. Maybe not you that have good insider information.
I will tell you, the thing that I like, now I do not receive any money for this statement I'm about to say.
Okay.
I used to use Coinbase as the transactional means for my crypto trading. I've moved on to Gemini. Gemini, just a little side note, is backed by the guys that Mark Zuckerberg screwed out of Facebook. They went on and bought thousands of Bitcoins.
Something twins.
The twins, yeah. They own Gemini.
Really?
And so Gemini, they really have a great platform there. And I even like my little phone app. You can watch all the up and coming ones. It'll show you top gainers of the day, and which draws your eye to certain charts, and you can see the momentum of some of them. And I've done very well by just watching breakout momentum on like Stoji, Filecoin, BAT. You know the Brave. Are you aware of the Brave web browser? Oh, I started using that after the elections. Unlike Google, which tracks you and knows everything you're doing, Brave blocks other people. It's called the Brave browser.
I guess I have heard about that
And
browser.
when if you opt in to some ads popping in, you're paid a very fractional amount of Brave cryptocurrency. And I actually trade it. That Brave coin is trading at about $1.21 right now, a coin for Brave coin. It's BAT, short for, I forget what it is right now. But as you're browsing, if you choose through settings and you click the ads, you're paid a very fractional little cyber coin. But the point is, over time, I have a friend of mine already accumulated $6 on this web browser by bothering to allow ads to pop up. And when you tap that ad, you're paid to read that ad.
Oh, how interesting.
And so you're accumulating that. And so that's become an interesting cryptocurrency. Around election time, it was at 11 cents, and now it's $1.21. It's jumped 1,000%.
Wow,
and
wow.
because of the elections, people got upset with Google, and then Brave was being pushed around, this Brave browser. And they have a cryptocurrency that you get. Of course, this cryptocurrency is convertible. You can switch it out for a different crypto or convert it into US dollar and go spend it. But these are interesting things that are coming about in the world. So Gemini, it's downloadable on your phone website, or you can go to their website, and it's got a really great browser to use for charting and such. And that's how I find them. And it's mostly on that phone app, and you can just top movers, all cryptos, and that's how you can, a picture paints 1,000 words. I look at a chart. If it's going sideways, I'm not interested. But if it's trending up, I'm interested, you know? And that's how you can find them on site.
As we close out this segment, let me ask you real quick. Does Gemini allow you to trade Ripple?
The answer to your question is no. I don't think so. I've never seen it on there.
All right.
Then you go to Robinhood
Folks,
for that
we're going to do one more segment with Eugene Graner. Stick with us. It's going to be so interesting.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
All right, we're back. It's No Apologies on Beck. We've got Eugene Graner. We're talking all about the dollar and cryptos and this and that. Of course, if you're not even a little bit versed in cryptos, I'm sorry if this is boring you, but it's good to know. I mean, everyone's talking about it. I will say that as much as I am enthused about cryptos, because I find it fascinating, and the whole getting outside of government control is amazing, folks, don't forget that if you do invest your $1,400 or any amount of your money into crypto, be prepared to lose it. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't want to be responsible for you thinking like, well, gosh,
disclaimer
it can only go up.
It can only go up because, man.
Notice I said that it's corrected at least 40% seven times.
Right.
In the last several years, so it is gone for a ride.
Yep.
But
I will tell the folks too. Every dollar I invested, I took out. So I have no risk at this point. And so I just don't want people to be like, I'm mortgaging the house.
And then there's the IRS too.
Yeah, there's the IRS. You will pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
And there's something else. Now, our brokerage firm, Heartland Investor Services at heartlandinvest.com, our website, our phone number's there for the main office here in Bismarck. I have branch offices, but at the main office, starting May 7th, we're going to start trading futures on Bitcoin, micro contracts. And for some that want to take a hand at it, it's done on exchange from the U.S. You trade a futures contract. It's like trading corn, soybeans, bean, gold futures, oil futures, the same way. You're going to be trading 1/10 of Bitcoin. So you're trading Bitcoin like a $6,000 Bitcoin versus a $60,000 Bitcoin. And to give you a comparison, if Bitcoin moves up 10,000 points, you'll make $1,000. If it goes down 1,000 points, you're going to lose $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, it goes both ways. But the point is, it's a new avenue towards this, and you can deal with a person, you can deal with an exchange, you exchange, and that would be us at Heartland Investor Services. We go through the CME, the Commodity Mercantile Exchange, which is a futures contract. So it's another way of accessing Bitcoin.
Interesting.
So I'm really dumb on commodities, which I shouldn't be with friends like you, but I am. Can you buy like short futures?
Yes, you can go short Bitcoin.
You can.
So that's the advantage of the micro futures. Unlike in Bitcoin, like the Gemini and the Coinbase, you can't go short making money to the downside. You can only buy it or get out and hope it goes down and buy back.
Yes.
With us, if you've just got this, I just know it's going to go down. Well, we can short selling is what it's called. I mean, you can make money on the downward movement of Bitcoin via our micro futures contract. So if you think at 60,000, oh, I just know that thing's going to $40,000. Well, I'm telling you right now, you could go short the futures, and if it drops 20,000 points, you'd make 2,000 a contract. Do 10 contracts to make 20,000. But the point is, there is movement to be made both ways. And you can make money if it goes sideways, because it's called option trading. If you believe that it will not take out 60,000, you can sell calls above the market that's short selling the options, and you collect the premiums that people, but first off, we're getting very out of there for some people don't understand options.
I was going to say, you know,
you can buy options to make money when the market goes up. You can buy options to make money when the market goes down. Well, there's somebody on the other side. That person is collecting the premiums. So if the market goes nowhere, they keep the premiums. Now, you better be very well advised or very professional at doing this.
Yeah.
But that's what you do when markets go sideways. Sell options.
Well, good. So,
This is
folks,
a
if you
lot.
want to invest, then this is a good way to go, especially if you want to do the crazy stuff like options, which I don't know.
All kinds of ways to make and lose money.
Right.
Now, can I bring something up really
Yes.
quick? It's interesting to me how it's difficult to get certain things now. After COVID, it was difficult to get things we made with steel or things that were wood or things like that. And aluminum seems to be one of those things that's in flux too. There was a time at our hardware stores we could not get toasters.
Yeah.
You just could not get it. Appliances are like that. You mentioned that earlier. Do you have any market suggestions on that sort of thing?
In regards to appliances?
Yes.
Be like me, building a new house. Have everything purchased and delivered before you even start building the house.
Don't even work way ahead.
I wish I did. It's just about availability is what it's come down to. I know one individual for his business, he needed 5 brand new pickups. Well, he went to one dealership, they couldn't do it. Fine, he went to another dealership across the river, couldn't do it. He went to another state.
Wow.
Dealership pulled it off, got him. It's all about availability. So unfortunately, it's about
Supply
those
and
that have
demand
it. Yeah.
So is there more to it than simply supply and demand? As you indicated, a lot of the stuff people are like, wow, this is the time to do the home improvements, yada, yada, yada. Is there more to it than just that?
Well, here's what happened in lumber. Lumber, which has tripled to almost quadrupled in price,
Right.
suffered from the COVID production slowdowns. Like the packing plants, they had to space everybody out. In regards to the lumber mills,
And then they had wildfires out west too, didn't
simultaneously.
they? At the same time, that's right. I just remembered that.
And then throw into the mix lowest interest rates ever for homes, and everybody wanted to just either buy a new home, build a new home because of the low rates, and or remodel their existing home because of the low rates. And so that just exploded the demand. And the definition of inflation is too many dollars chasing too few products. Well, that's what lumber was. Everybody wanted it because the interest rate was so cheap to do it. Not that they had the cash, but they could borrow the money at such a cheap rate that everybody jumped on the same bandwagon to pursue this endeavor. Well, lumber had no choice but to explode and become the haves and have-nots. And that's what it's come down to for now. And that lumber will stay elevated through the second quarter because your big box stores, like Menards, Lowe's and such, they go to the lumber mills in the fall planning for their spring needs, and they get a guaranteed rate and supply through June. Okay, so don't look for lumber prices to ease until after June. And the futures markets show the same thing too. Our May lumber futures are over 1,000 board feet, but we're showing the lower prices for July. And so that is when we'll start seeing decreasing is hopefully later on this summer, July and into August. Plus, if you check your rates for homes now, rates have risen since December, November, December. Not a lot, but some people might be hesitating and pulling back just because of it, because they were already buying too much home with too little dollars.
Right. So I've got a big question for you in our final minute here. 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, do you see a whole different world in the United States? I'm worried about I'm worried about the creating money, the inflation. I'm wondering if the ease in which we live our lives, we buy houses, we do whatever, is it completely different like I think it is, or do you think I'm
No, here's our problems we're
overreacting?
going to have. This problem is so immense with this money. To fix it, in the past, it was either a balanced budget through government. Good luck with that. It was higher interest rates. I remember last time I was on here, I told you about how under the Carter administration, $200 billion, they caused interest rates to go to 18% to mop that up. Okay, I'm not predicting 18% interest rates, but the third factor is inflation. Inflation diminishes the old debt, not the new debt, but the old debt by creating more dollars to pay down what is now relatively a smaller looking debt.
Sure.
What we're going to have is a combination of higher interest rates and still have inflation at the same time. I mean, $1,000 lumber is expensive right now. It's going to be a long time until we ever see lumber under $400 a board foot again. Just because inflation, that dollars that's out there, unless they mop it up with higher interest rates like 8%, sounds insane right now. That was a good rate. For years, 8% was a good rate because I remember the 18% rates.
Yep,
And,
very well.
Nonetheless, we're going to have a mixture of both, not just one, a mixture of both. Higher
Very,
rates
very good.
and inflation.
Excellent.
Thank you so much
for
Such
being
good
on. Folks,
information.
I hope you have enjoyed the last few years because the party is over. Eugene, thanks for being on. We will have you on again, I have no doubt. Thank you. Folks, stick with us. We'll be back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome back to No Apologies. Lori, I don't know what to do. Do I buy Bitcoin? Do I buy gold? Do I buy houses?
That is so
do I
interesting.
sell my silverware? What do I do?
Do you have lumber? If you have lumber, you're good.
I'm going to sell lumber. I'm sure I don't need it in the basement.
That's
I
really...
got cement walls if I just take the lumber out of the walls.
That's right. You can make some money on your lumber. It is. It's really, really good information, though. Eugene's the best there, too. We're going to switch gears for this last segment tonight just a little bit and talk a little bit about reporters and journalism, in particular, Beck reporters. Now, you took your cool Beck credentials and
it's my new
like
vocation.
Job,
it's my
right?
new vocation.
Another job, so.
I am a reporter.
Yeah. So you went to the press conference that the governor held on
the health department.
On the health department. That's correct. And so he went there, and I'm assuming unmolested, unchallenged. You didn't have any problem going in. You didn't have any issues. Nobody hassled you or anything like that. I'm assuming.
All good.
So a sister show to us on this network is Ladies of Another View, and one of the hosts of Ladies of Another View was on this past Thursday morning on April 1st at a hearing at the state capitol. Her name is Jan Wangler. I went that day as well because I wanted to hear the hearing, and so and it was before my real big girl job. And so what I did was I went a little bit before the meeting, hoping that I could sit in the back of the room because I knew I would have to leave. So Jan Wangler got into the room for the hearing. It was in the Sakakawea room, and it was for HB 1323. She had a really unpleasant experience, actually, and I'm going to show you a clip about what happened in the hearing room. This is very, very interesting. Please roll the first clip.
I'm going to interrupt just for a second. I see there's somebody back there who's videotaping everything. Can I ask what your purpose is, and are you going to testify today?
I had not planned to testify. I didn't want to take the place. I am recording for press.
Well, then I would ask you to give up your chair so that somebody else who's going to testify could sit in here. Okay? Would you mind?
I was told that if there wasn't a chair for me, I did not have a place in the room, so
well, there's probably 30 people outside that would like to listen to the testimony so that they can pop up when there's a chance. So I would ask you to give that chair up to somebody who's going to testify.
They can have my
like
chair
this lady right here.
Stand in another place too.
Well, we have this all videoed, by the way. I mean, I don't know what your purpose is. Please give up your chair. Thank you.
So Jan was using her cell phone to videotape the two gals who came from Michigan to do their testimony. They spoke, Tammy Clark and then Kristen Megan Kelly testified. Tammy is an OSHA credentialed PPE respiratory pathogen protection expert. Kristen is an 18 years experience in the field of industrial hygiene. These were expert witnesses, and she wanted to get, for her program, video of these two gals giving their testimony. So she went, and rather than using the whole legislative video, she went with her own camera and went in as a reporter to do the videotaping. Now, I was outside the room, and I was watching the legislative feed so I could see what was going on in the room right past the doors and what was going on. But she was just sitting inside the door, so maybe 10 feet away from where I was outside of the door. Well, they made her stand up and give up her chair for somebody who was going to testify, which is fine. But then that it didn't end there, because it got to the point where they were annoyed that she was in the room, and she had her, Beck logo and her name on her lanyard with her so she could identify herself as the press. And then this happened shortly after that.
Senator Judy Lee.
This is not a question, sir, but I'm quite uncomfortable having somebody videoing. I'm moving my screens because I don't think it's necessary for this to be in somebody else's video, particularly when everything will be available to everybody in the entire world forever on the cloud. This is all video. That's what these lights and cameras are for.
Okay. So you can't be there.
How am I making you uncomfortable? I'm not videotaping you, I'm videotaping the speakers.
But I thought, Mr. Chairman, what I thought would be appropriate is if it was announced that this is all being videoed in a very, very high-tech fashion for anybody who will ever want to show it to anybody.
And I thought I said that to her.
You did. You did.
I realize that, Chairman, that it is online. but not everybody has access in that fashion.
Well, I don't know, I guess I thought I got to make the rules for this hearing.
Understood.
So if you're not testifying, then I would ask you to social distance for this. There's only so much oxygen in here, because there's 40 people out there that would like to testify.
Am I preventing them from doing so, sir?
Yeah, we're getting too many people in one small room. That's the deal.
I will follow your request.
Thank you.
I'm saying that I am 6 feet apart. That's why the other test person gave up their spot.
Okay, this is not a debate class. Thank you.
No.
So Jan was very unceremoniously removed from the room for doing nothing more than videotaping on her phone. She was taping the speakers. That's what she wanted to do. Now, this in itself is no big deal. The problem occurs when what happened next happened. And I was sitting there and saw it with my own eyes. I see Jan come out. Jan goes out into the hallway. She's like, I just got kicked out. It's so weird. I thought, oh, well, that's strange. So I'm still watching on this. And I look up and I see a reporter with a big camera and I recognize this individual, waltzed right past me directly into the room right after she was out and went in to do some videotaping of the exact same thing. And this reporter from another, well, let's just say another affiliate network person from here in town was able to waltz right in, no problem, and he got to videotape the same thing that Jan was doing. So that was really odd to me. So I got up and I went over to Jan and I'm like, the reporter just waltzed right in, past anybody, didn't check with anybody, and walked right in, no problem. What's the difference? So this is just a little troubling. To me, it seemed like a blatant display of obvious, I don't know, bias.
I think so. One of the things is going to be that, of course, it has to be understood what the media is and is not, because that was clearly there was a double standard there. But you know, I think what we at Beck News will have to do is be very clear that we are representing media, because sometimes people want to cram behind and they do actually have malintent and they want to capture what's on video screens for social media purposes. So
the only difference between the reporters in my mind was the size of the camera. So.
As it turns out. Yes, folks, thanks for hanging with us. We are done for tonight. Stick with us. We are going to be back tomorrow night with lots of good stuff.